Do you have any questions before we start?
Pardon?
Do you have any questions before we start?
Um, Not particularly, no.
Alright then, I guess we'll start. Criteria 1, self-evaluation/reflection. Number 1, why do you want to be a moderator?
I want to become a moderator because I feel like I need to give more to the community back. I've been playing on Abacus for more than 3 years. I think it's been 4, and I just want to give something back because apart from becoming media, I haven't really done much to give back to the community. And every time I'm online, there's always breaker online, someone who needs help, and as much as I try and help people, or as much as I try and help people with questions, I can't really do much about rule breakers, and so I feel like I need to give something back to the community.
Alright, and is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, how passionate about Abacus are you?
I've been on Abacus again for about 4 years, and I hardly ever play any other games other than Minecraft, and sadly, because I don't play Hypix or anything, all my time is spent on Abacus, and all my time goes into it. I have other things to do in my life, but whenever I have free time away from homework and things, I enjoy getting on Abacus. I love the community, and I feel like I'm a part of the community, and people know me, and so definitely Abacus is one of a really unique server that I've seen before, and I just really enjoy it.
Alright. Number 3, how do you make important decisions?
Well, I go through my head with the pros and the cons of the situation, and I find out, and I think it through, and I put myself as as if I was the victim, or person that it's happening to, and I would figure out and put myself in different perspectives, and I'd work through the pros and the cons of the thing, and just through all of that, I would try and pick the best solution for everyone, and not just for one person or myself. I'd do it for everyone. Um, that's how I do it pretty much. Um, yeah. But if it's quite an important decision, I would probably ask someone around me for a second decision. I would figure out personally what my idea on the situation was, and I'd ask someone for their perception as well. Using that, I'd make the decision, and I make it firm and clear, and people would have to go by that.
Alright, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, if you were limited to just one person to get advice and help from on Abacus, which person would you choose? Why?
Personally, sorry, does this have to be a rank or a person, an individual?
Anyone on Abacus?
Okay. Personally, I would go to Mimo Lion, I think his IGN is Super Lion, because I've been in a few TeamSpeaks chats with him. I know he hasn't been a moderator for very long, but I know that from just seeing him in game that he knows what he's doing, and I feel like he would have a good idea on the situation. I've been I I've befriended him for about 2 months ago on a server, and I just trust his decision, and I've spoken to him in TeamSpeak. I know his personality, and so I feel like if the situation needed to be escalated, I would go to Mimo Lion, and I feel like he would be the right guy to help me.
Alright. Number 5, what's your greatest fear about this opportunity?
Um, My greatest fear would probably be to mess it up, because I haven't been a staff member before, and although I'm a quick learner, I still feel like I don't have the experience. But that's not going to put me off. I will try my 100% best, but I feel like if anything will go wrong, it's the fact that I'll make an unjust decision, and just from lack of experience, I think that will probably make me make a decision that maybe not the best. But I'm a quick learner, as I said, so I very highly doubt that after a few months or a few weeks of moderator or mod, it would. I think I'd still be able to make my decisions fine. Yeah, so pretty much my greatest fear is to make an unjust.
Sorry, did you cut out?
Oh, pardon? Didn't you hear that?
Wait, did you end on fear?
Yeah, that was, yeah, if
Okay.
you got that.
That's fine. Alright. Now moving on to criteria 2, general situations. Number 1. You and another staff member were messaging each other about a confidential topic. As it happens, a player has messaged you just as you sent an important link to a confidential document. The player has then received this link. What do you do?
Well, if it was over Discord or any Skype call or anything like that, I would probably delete the post, and straight away I would apologize for apologize to the person, and I'd bring light to it. I wouldn't talk about what it was due to the confidentiality, but I'd definitely tell them that they weren't supposed to see that, and it was my mistake on my behalf. I would tell the other mod what I'd done, resend the message if I had to send it back to him, and I'd tell the player not to worry about it and that I was sorry for the inconvenience. I'd probably also tell a senior moderator that I'd done it so they could be aware of the situation that happened, and so if anything happened with that, they would know what happened and why. If anything, yeah, that, and if anything was to escalate from it, I'd definitely make sure. But I would definitely message the player who I accidentally sent it to make sure that they realise that it was confidential and that they shouldn't be seeing it and it was my fault. And I would just ask them to kindly not to look into it or anything, just to forget that happened.
Alright.
And that's it.
Okay. Number 2. A player appeals a punishment you gave them. The senior moderator insists that the punishment is false. You have evidence and you believe it clearly shows him hacking. This senior mod has more experience than you, but is also friends with the banned player. What would you do?
Situation, I would probably contact another senior moderator, and I'd show them the evidence, and I would explain why I think the player was hacking, and I would explain the senior moderators, the person who didn't agree that they were hacking. I'd talk about their friendship with the banned person, and I would make sure that they know about the situation, and I would get their opinion on the matter. And from that, I would then speak to the senior moderator, the person who thinks that the person isn't hacking, that senior moderator, and I would tell them that I would show them the clip, and I'd go through the points, and I would probably get up editing software, and I'd cut the bit where it shows them, and I'd show them that so they have a more of an in-depth view on it. And I'd explain to this, and I would say that I know you may be friends with the person, but you got to do what's best for the server. And of course they may have more experience than me, but if I can get another vouch from another senior moderator or another mod and get a few opinions, then they're gonna have to go with the majority of the vote. And unfortunately, they may have a friendship with the person, but if they're hacking, they're breaking a rule of the server. So that is probably what I'd do.
Alright. Number 3. One day the senior staff team makes a decision you do not agree with. You do not know all the details of the decision or the circumstances in which they were made, and you are simply told by another staff member. However, you do not like their decision based from what you know. In the application process, you told us what you would do. Now tell us why you would do that.
Okay, well, in the application, I said that I would contact the senior staff, and hopefully a compromise would be made. But I would do this because it's the only people I could go to, and I would talk to them, and I would figure this out. And I put this in the application, and I would ask for it because I want to know a bit more about what's happening. That's why I said I would ask for the reasoning behind the decision, and I would show them my concerns so they know that there is someone out there who's wondering why. And the reason I would do this mainly is because I don't agree with it and I want to get my point over. And at the end of the day, they will make the best decision for the community, but I want them to know that there's someone out there who doesn't necessarily agree with what's happening. And that they have concerns with the decision, and I hope a compromise could be reached. Mainly because you want to do what's best for everyone. But there's not much more I could do other than just talk to the staff, the senior staff. But the main reason behind it is so that they know that they have to reach what's best for everyone, and they have to make a decision for everyone.
Alright. Now this last question is not based off your interview, it's more for the senior staff team.
Okay.
Are there any questions I haven't asked you that I should have?
I think you should have probably asked me if should probably ask me if I had any experience as a moderator before. I know that I talked about this on the first question, but I believe that you should have asked me what commands I know, or what if there's someone hacking or breaking the rules, how to deal with that. Mainly down so that the person, the interviewee, has a bit of knowledge about what's actually happening. Also, I think you should have probably talked about what getting moderator on Abacus would mean, which was in the other criteria, in criteria 3. But I think it would have probably been best to have more of an in-depth question on that, so you can find out more about find out more about myself.
Alright.
Hang on, sorry. Also, I'd probably ask at the end if you have anything else to add to your application, which is the last question in the application. But I think that you can probably find out a bit more information about the interviewee, and you can find out what's happening in their life, and find out if any extra information that you may miss questions being asked.
Alright, and is that it?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, this concludes the end of the interview.